Hi class, welcome back. So this is the last section in chapter 9. We're gonna go over pharmacy inventory and counting change. Our learning objectives are to calculate inventory turnover and define and calculate depreciation. So pharmacy inventory. An inventory is a listing of all the items that are available for sale in a business. A pharmacist's inventory value is the total value of all the drugs and merchandise in stock on a given day. Pharmacies must maintain record of all the drugs, supplies, and merchandise purchased and sold to know when to reorder from the wholesaler to restock or supply their shelves. Pharmacies continually adjust their inventory levels based on how quick items are being sold. So it's very important that as a pharmacy technician, you're paying attention to what is moving faster, what drugs are selling faster in order to maintain that inventory level up. What drugs are not selling enough of that perhaps you don't have to keep in stock. And if a drug comes in, a prescription comes in for a drug that you don't have in stock, you're still able to tell the person that it will take the next business date in order to receive the drug, if that's okay. Perhaps you will get patients that are not okay with it and they'll go to another pharmacy. But you can't have everything in inventory because, again, remember, this is a business. You don't want to lose money. So if that's a drug that doesn't move within a year, there's no reason why you should have it in your inventory. Space. So shelving and refrigeration space must be properly allocated. Keeping medications on the shelf is a cost to a pharmacy, and a large inventory can hinder cash flow, like I was stating earlier. If you have too much inventory that's just sitting there, you're going to lose money because medications do expire. To control inventory costs, pharmacy personnel needs to manage their pharmacy inventory so that medications do not sit on the shelf for an extended period. So like I said, you have to pay attention to how fast that medication moving, how much time is that medication sitting on the shelf. Is there only one person on that medication that's coming into the pharmacy? So sorry. That's coming into the pharmacy. So you basically probably already will know, okay, this medication will last that patient 45 days. So before those 45 days are up, I should have that inventory, that medication back in stock. So when that patient comes in for their refill, you have that medication available. You don't have to have it right away because, again, you have to pay attention to how fast that medication is moving. Pharmacy personnel generally tries to manage their inventory so that medications arrive from the wholesaler shortly before they are dispensed and sold. So see, this is a key thing. Like I was stating in the previous example, if that patient is coming, you only have one patient on that medication, and that patient is taking that medication every 45 days. So you know that by day 30 or by day 35, you should want to start ordering that medication so you have it in stock by the time that that patient comes in to get its refill. So it's not sitting on the shelf for a whole month. It's not sitting on the shelf for 6 months. Okay. You don't want a medication to be sitting in your pharmacy for a long period of time because by the end of the month, you're losing money. However, there are instances when a pharmacy may need to stock so sorry. They need to stock some slow-moving drugs as a service to a small number of customers who require those medications. In the past, pharmacy personnel kept track of inventory by maintaining in handwritten records of all pharmacy purchases and sales. Today, this labor and time-intensive inventory system has been replaced by computerized inventory records. Each time drugs or other merchandise is purchased from the wholesaler and received in the pharmacy, the quantity and price are adjusted into the pharmacy's computer database. So again, now that, evolve of time, computers now are able to maintain those records. So whenever you enter that medication into the computer, the system knows how much inventory you have. So if you enter in the computer as something that's going to be dispensed, it'll automatically deduct it from your inventory. And whenever you receive your order that, okay, it's time to reorder a certain amount of medication, whenever you receive it and you scan it back into the computer, it'll adjust it and increase the inventory. There's some systems now that you still have to do perhaps manually inventory, where you will adjust the quantity manually into the computer system. So whenever you receive your stock, you'll say, okay, I received 100 pills of atenolol, so you'll add that to the system. So you'll find atenolol into your computer database and manually add 100 medications. Other systems, like I stated earlier, you'll just scan the barcode, so the system will know that, okay, this barcode says that it's atenolol, there's 100 count, so let's add that into inventory. But again, with this stuff of scanning stuff into the computer, you have to set up that information. So before you even do inventory, so if this is the first time your pharmacy is starting a new system of them adding that inventory by itself automatically, you have to set that up. Okay, so the system won't know automatically, oh, this barcode is atenolol, so, and it has a 100 quantity. You will have to first tell the system, scan the barcode in the system, manually input that information of the name of the drug, the strength, and the quantity that comes in the bottle, in order to add that information into the system. So the next time that you scan that barcode, the system already knows what it is. But like I said, you have to input that information first. And so it's, again, very important that if it is your job to add a new barcode into the system, that you're paying attention to the strength of the medication, the name of the medication, the quantity that comes into that bottle, so that your inventory supply is updated. As customers make purchases from the pharmacy system automatically adjusts the inventory record for the items purchased. This method of updating the inventory based on purchase is known as perpetual inventory. A pharmacy usually establishes an inventory range from each item, sometimes called a par level. So par level indicates the minimum and the maximum number of units to have in stock. When an inventory item drops to the predetermined minimum par level, sometimes called the reorder point, it is reordered. The reorder point and reorder quantity are based on the history use of the item and the time it takes to get that shipment from the wholesaler. So you have to pay attention to how fast the wholesaler will send you the medication. If you have contracts with different wholesalers, you already know that it might take 3 business days, 5 business days. It might come in the next day. So depending on your contract with the wholesaler, usually pharmacies will order 3 times a week, maybe twice a week. Some, for example, hospitals, they order every single day except for Sundays that they don't get a shipment in with their contractor. Maybe they do have a contractor that even ships on Sundays. But majority of the time, there's always one day that they don't supply. So you have to take into account when those shipments come in to order accordingly. In general, reorder quantities are set to replenish the inventory item back up to at least the minimum par level. However, it may not be more economical to order enough of the drug to bring the par level to the maximum level if ordering a large package size saves the pharmacy money. There are circumstances that indicate a reorder quantity that exceeds the maximum par level. So again, if there is a large quantity, say for example, you have acetaminophen and the box of 10 boxes per box, it's cheaper than just buying one box. You might just go ahead and order the 10 boxes. Why? Because it saves you money. You know that that medication is something that moves fast in your facility, so you'll keep a higher inventory, but still keep into account the par levels of their minimum par level, your maximum par level. You probably don't want to go lower than one bottle of acetaminophen. You might say, okay, well, our maximum is 20 boxes. Our minimum is 8 boxes, because you don't want to be less than if there's a person that comes into the pharmacy and that's a medication that they need right away. So, and again, this medication is over the counter, so you want to make sure that they still come to your pharmacy and that you have enough supply of that medication. For example, during cold and flu season, and usually high number of customers receive prescriptions for some medication, a pharmacy will typically keep a large supply for anti-infective, antiviral, and over-the-counter cold remedies in stock than it would at other times of the year. So again, with the seasons changing, allergies are coming up in spring. Like it says, the flu season, it starts in October. So you want to start probably stocking up in September for those type of medications that are common to the flu. Except for the inventory of propranolol 10 milligrams is to be maintained at the minimum of 300 tablets and the maximum of 1,500 tablets. If 212 tablets are left on the shelf at the end of the day, how many bottles will you order to meet the inventory minimum? Propranolol is available in bottles containing 100 tablets, 500 tablets, and 1,000 tablets. You typically order the largest size bottle. So first of all, we need to see how many tablets, minimum tablets to order. So 300 tablets minus 212 tablets that you have left is equal to 88 tablets. Although either the small size bottle will work, it is common business practice to order the same package size. Therefore, even though it significantly surpasses the minimum, you will order 1,000 count bottle of propranolol. The resulting inventory will still be within the acceptable range and will not exceed the 1,500 tablets. So like we said, the maximum is 1,500. The minimum, I believe, was 300 tablets. So that's why we used here the minimum and the quantity that we have in stock to find out how many minimum tablets to order. So that was 88. So we could have used the 100 count bottle of tablet, but like it says, you typically order the largest size, which is 1,000. So if we add 1,000 and the 1,212 of that we have in stock, that's still less than the maximum. So you're not exceeding your maximum number of tablets. So that's a good thing. Inventory goals. So setting inventory goals for pharmacy requires keeping the value of inventory on the shelves relatively equal to the cost of the drugs and merchandise sold in a specific period. This period is usually either 1 week, 7 days, or 1 month, 30 days. So again, your inventory goals have to be with that range. So you want to make sure that the money that's going out in buying those drugs and the money that you're receiving is within that balance, that you're hopefully making more money than you are spending, basically. So you have to look, either start doing a weekly inventory of, let's see how much money goes out within that first week, how much money is received within that first week, and then go to a month. How much money are we spending in a month? How much money are we receiving in a month? Are we making more than we're losing? The pharmacy's computer system maintains a record of value of inventory currently on the pharmacy shelves. Most computer systems can provide an accurate record of the pharmacy cost for all products sold by the pharmacy in a 24-hour period. Many of these systems can print off inventory and cost records, as well as average usage and cost for a specific period. In rare instances, small independent pharmacies may not have readily access to this type of inventory and cost information. In these situations, a pharmacy manager may not know the best number of days to use a goal in calculating costs. However, the manager likely has a good estimate of the current inventory value. It can easily calculate average daily cost of items sold in the pharmacy. Weekly cost, 7 days. With this information, she can then determine how many days it will take, when what it referred to as inventory day supply, for the average daily product cost to equal the value of the inventory on the shelves. The manager can use this information to revise the inventory goal as necessary. So, excuse me. So the value of inventory on the shelf divided by the average daily cost of products sold is equal to the day's supply. So turnover rate. If the pharmacy does not maintain computerized or perpetual inventory, it must perform a physical inventory or an actual count at specific intervals, usually annually or semi-annually. The physical inventory value is then used to determine the average inventory value as follows. So the value of initial inventory plus the value of current inventory divided by 2 will give you the average annual inventory value. Knowing the average inventory value allows a pharmacy to calculate the number of times its inventory was repurchased during a cycle, usually a year. So again, you want to pay attention to how much medication you're using within 7 days, within a month, within 6 months, within quarterly, within a year, within half a year, just to make sure that your turnaround time for that medication is being met. You don't want that to be in the shelf for too long. Dividing total annual inventory purchased by the average inventory value gives the turnover rate, or the number of times the amount of goods in the inventory was sold during the year. Turnover rate can be calculated as follows. So the annual inventory purchase, which we just did earlier, divided by the average inventory value will give you the turnover rate. Turnover rate can be used to determine how quickly a particular item is being sold. Turnover rate can be applied more broadly to the entire pharmacy inventory, which helps the pharmacy manager know how well the pharmacy is meeting its cash flow goals. Knowing the turnover rate can help pharmacy personnel, excuse me, um, determine if the average inventory level should be increased or decreased. Extra costs may be associated with high or low inventories. So thus, if the pharmacy has an average inventory value of 25,250 and the cost of its annual inventory purchase is 75,000, the inventory will turn over 2.97 times, or approximately 3 times in a year. So the annual purchase of inventory divided by the average inventory value will give you the turnover. So dividing these two, gives you 2.97, which is roughly 3 times in a year. Depreciation is an analysis made to account for the decreasing value of a fixed asset based on its age and estimate life as an asset. Properties furnishing equipment such as a computer or cash registers owned by the pharmacy are called fixed assets, or simply assets. Assets are generally put into two broad categories: current assets and long-term assets. The assets that can be consumed or converted into cash within 1 year, such as drugs and over-the-counter products, are current assets. Those that cannot be consumed or converted into cash within 1 year, such as buildings, a very expensive equipment, are considered long-term assets. Depreciation and assets amounts are used by the pharmacy personnel in its annual taxes. So most fixed assets generally lose value due to use, obsolescence, and the passage of time. The straight line method of calculating depreciation uses the total cost, the estimated life of the property in years, and the disposal value of that item. The value of an item should be sold or otherwise disposed of at the end of the useful life. Below is the depreciation formula. So total cost minus disposal value divided by estimated life in years will give you the annual depreciation. For example, Ralph's Pharmacy buys and used a compact car for drug deliveries to local customers. The cost of the car is $9,000. It estimates useful life is 5 years, and the disposal value is $1,200. What is the annual depreciation? So the total cost, $9,000, minus disposable value, $1,200, divided by the estimate life in years, 5, gives you 1,560. The annual depreciation of the car is 1,560. So Sing Pharmacy has 147,210 in inventory. The pharmacy's current goal is of 24-day supply. What was the approximate cost of products sold last week? So that would be 42,936. 936. So basically, you'll be dividing 147,210 divided by 24-day supply to get the cost per day. So that comes out to 6,133 and 75 cents. And then you'll multiply that by 7 days because it's asking you for the approximate cost of products sold last week, so within 1 week. So, and you get the 42,936 thousand. Next problem says Scott Pharmacy had sales of 51,280 last week. What must the pharmacy's daily sale average be this week in order to make a 5,000 more than last week? So the first thing is to add the two 51,280 plus 5,000 gives you 56,280. Now divide that by 7 will give you $8,040. If the pharmacy average inventory for the past year was 132,936 and the annual cost total was 1,612,000, what was the turnover rate? So in this problem, you would just divide 161200 divided by 132,936 and you get 12.1. So your turnover rate is 12. If the pharmacy average inventory for the past year was 156,200 and the annual cost total was 1,768,000, what was the turnover rate? So in this instance, you would add the two, the value of the initial inventory plus the value of the current inventory oh wait, no. They're asking us for the turnover rate. Sorry. So you would just divide the two again. So divide your annual by the average, and that will give you the turnover rate. So 11.3. Counting change. In any business, collecting the money will occur. In a retail pharmacy, the pharmacy technician is responsible for accepting payments from the customers. Basic math skills are essential in monetary transactions. When a customer pays cash, the pharmacy technician should be able to count and present the customer with the correct change. Counting change is a key skill for excellent customer services and pharmacy accounting. The cash registry screen displays the amount owed to the customer. You must count the cash in hand in its back. There are two ways you can count change. Count the amount listed on the register. So if the register says that the patient should receive $12, then you'll just add $12. Count from the purchasing price. Counting the amount listed on the register is the easiest method. So first confirm the amount changed to be received based on the amount listed on the register. Second, count the money out from the biggest to the smallest coin and the biggest to the smallest bill as you place the money in the customer's house. So if the customer is to receive $12, you'll get the $10 bill and then 2 ones. So you'll count 10, 1, 11, 12. When counting from the purchase price, first take the amount of change needed as noted on the register from the cashier's drawer. Next, begin at the base price. Count out the coins needed to reach the next bill. Then offer $1 bills to the point where you can use the next highest denomination, which would be $5 bills. Continue to the next highest denomination until you reach the amount first given by the customer. So if the customer paid you with with a $20 bill, and the amount that was owed to the pharmacy was $8, and so they need $12 back, right? So then you would start off with $8, say 8, and then you would start counting 8, and then $1 9, another dollar 10, and then the $10 bill 20. So that's basically how you would count to the purchase price. So in summary, pharmacies must consider both income and overhead when calculating actual profits and when setting goals for the desired percentage of the profit. The net profit of an item is based upon the percentage of profit that the pharmacy intends to make and is determined by subtracting the overall cost of an item from the item's selling price. Pharmacies have contracts with wholesalers who provide drug supply items from the manufacturer to the pharmacy. Pharmacies have contracts with pharmacy benefit managers who broker insurance reimbursement claims. Pharmacy personnel must be familiar with the average wholesale price and capitation fees that affect the profitability of the facility. Pharmacy technicians are actively involved in managing pharmacy inventory, determining day supply, establishing the turnover rates, replenishing the stock to the desired par level, and counting changes. So again, business pharmacy is part of the pharmacy technician overall experience. And you'll see more of that experience if you work in a smaller community pharmacy rather than these large chain pharmacies or hospital settings. So this concludes chapter 9. So again, if you have questions, feel free to email me. And we'll go ahead and end here. Next up is studying for the final exam. So again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to send me a message.